how bad the workings are at NineStar that they didn't understand that this wasn't going to be interesting. They thought this was going to be interesting to us, that we would be interested in watching this. And like I said, I watched this so you didn't have to. You don't even, trust me, if you're even, I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Even being objective, I'm like, don't watch this. It's boring. It's not interesting. Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nick, and I make videos about whatever I want to make videos about, namely LGBTQ plus content, Thai GL series, FayeYoko fandom. But of course, as everyone knows, the FayeYoko fandom is kind of over now, at least for this moment, and NineStarStudios is blowing themselves up for the most part. I wanted to watch the Newbie, so you didn't have to. A lot of people are boycotting and unfollowing NineStarStudio on all platforms, and rightfully so. I am not one of those people. I don't jump on bandwagons, boycotts, trends, campaigns, or anything political for that matter, and there's reasons for that, but I don't do that. I also don't like being told what to do, so I'm here to watch the ship go down with my front row seat while I'm eating popcorn. That's how I feel about it, okay? So please respect people who don't have the same beliefs as you or agendas. Don't push that on people. Thank you. So let's get into the social media aspect of this situation. So on social media, they have lost quite a bit of followers. So on YouTube alone, they've lost about, I don't know, 66,000, almost 70,000 subscribers. Twitter, they've lost about 30K. Instagram 40K, and TikTok 30K. I kind of thought it would be a lot more than that, but that's all of the subscribers they've lost in this boycott. And before I get into episode 2, I also wanted to do a little bit of a recap on episode 1, right? So episode 1 of this, the Newbie show, it had Nancy, who's an actress, Juan, the owner, founder, former CEO, and JoJo as judges. JoJo was the director of Blank. He's a director in general. There were 50 actors who auditioned to display their acting, their singing, their musical instrument skill, or just like their beauty skills in general. Lots of Yoko's friends applied, especially you can see a lot of them in part 3 for some reason. There was no FayeYoko in this episode other than Yoko's theme song, which is a good song. I mean, it's unfortunate timing for all of this, but P-Pin did a great job with the song. In terms of the actors, there's not much diversity in terms of the looks other than like their height and their hair color. Everyone kind of looked the same, to be honest. Also, there was a lot of English spoken in this episode 1. I was kind of surprised by that. It was more than I expected. The views for the engagement for this was pretty low. I think part 1, because it's a 1 episode, but they have 4 parts. Part 1 was 66,000 views. The second part is like 30,000 views, and the remaining parts have like 20,000 views. And then they have comments, maybe like about 500 to 700 comments each, but they're all negative comments. It's all negative engagement. But still, engagement's engagement. And I was honestly excited about this before, all this stuff had happened. I was like, okay, this will be new, this will be different. And I thought, like, I'll work through the process and see what they were going to offer. So the first episode is kind of interesting. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I guess this is a reality show. We're doing a reality show. It's an audition reality show. So then we get into episode 2. So part 1 of episode 2 had 15 actors, and so they whittled down that 50 to 15. They show up in this large room and sit and wait and do introductions with Mentita Wananankul. They call her Mint. She's an actor and singer. You probably heard of her. Lots of people actually don't have experience in acting, which I thought was interesting. And a couple of Yoko's friends are in this group. So Thongfa and Grace are in this group. Also Noon. So Noon plays Dr. Juan Viva in the show, and there's also Gam or Gammy. Her name is Fanita. I can't say her last name. She plays young Kunnoon in like the teenage version of Kunnoon in Blank the series, and I thought that was really weird because I'm like, why did Noon and Gammy have to re-audition for this show? Like they already acted in Blank, so you already know their skill. So why are they a part of the show? You should have just hired them as a part of the team, right? Like it's just really weird that they're in this. Other things to know, I thought people had really interesting names. So everyone has like nicknames in Thailand, and there's a girl named Four Wheel, Lydiata, Soro, Peem, and Niall. Like, these are some very interesting names. I love it. There were 3 Graces. Okay, there were a lot of Graces in the first episode, but they narrowed it down, and 3 of them got through, which is crazy. And they gave them all different names. They gave them Galaxy Grace, Grace is Happy, and Crit Grace. What the fuck? Okay, all right, sure. And then in this episode, part 1, Look Kiao, I'm not saying her name right. Lukkaew. She's the actor teacher from the drama school in the workshops for blank, right? She shows up in this episode, and they end up playing this game called ASAP, and it's like their first exercise, and they basically just do whatever she tells them to do. And so she had them on the floor acting like cats, tigers, monkeys, a flower, a supermodel. Okay, it was just like it was basically improv, okay? And then she split them into 2 groups in a game called Samurai, and you're supposed to, like, she explained the game to them. They get in a circle and they go, who, he, ha, and they're like just like pointing at people, and people were supposed to do call and response, basically. And then that's the end. That's the end of part 1, okay? And I have to say, like, I was really excited by the other episodes. Episode 1, I was like, there's some potential here. But episode 2, I gotta say, it was hella boring. It was really boring and didn't kind of live up to what I thought it was gonna be, and didn't make me want to watch part 2. Like, it was truly, like, objectively a boring episode, or part of the episode. So we go to part 2. They do imaginary scenes based on what Look Cal tells them to do. So Mint is there too. She's just like kind of there as an assistant. So this is basically like an acting class. This is an acting workshop, and they're having these people kind of audition and look for new people through these activities. Okay, it's something that is cute. Like, they do, some of the people are cute and interesting, and they say funny things, but overall it's boring. It's just boring. Well, like, we don't have any attachments to these people, so, like, why should I care? Like, Faye and Yoko aren't in this. Even Juan's not in this, right? Like, why do I care about Lookout? Like, why would I care about her or Mint? Like, what is weird. Okay, so then part 3, we have Mint and Lookout. They pair people up, observe, and then give feedback. So they all come up, shake this like pink fortune stick thing one by one, everyone, to determine which team they're going to be on. There's 5 teams of 3. There's 5 teams of 3, so 3 people on each team. They have a scene to work on, and then they show to the group. And then Lookout gives them feedback. Mint says very little. I don't understand why she's even there. And this was incredibly boring. I actually skipped some of this. I was like skipping. I was like, what? This is so boring. At one point, Mint gives Grace is Happy. She gives her a new name. She calls her Glam Grace. Okay, sure. The 4th part was just the last 2 teams finishing up. So part 3 was the 3 teams going, and then part 4 is the last 2 teams. That's it. That's the end of the show, the episode. And I was like, what? Views for this right now, this has been out for maybe like 12 hours so far, I would imagine, right? The views right now are very low. Part 1 has 12K views, part 2 has 10K views, part 3 has 7K views, and part 4 has 7K views. Comments are around 160 to 300 comments per episode part, and they're all negative comments, by the way, all negative. So after watching this, in conclusion, I would just say this is just a very boring talent and audition reality show, and has no hooks to keep us as an audience interested. And this episode was generally like, it was like just really not that interesting. Even if there wasn't any drama going on with the whole FayeYoko situation, everything was like Gucci, everybody was happy. Why would I watch this show? Like, there's nothing about this that is interesting that would hook me. And I think that says a lot about how bad the workings are at NineStar, that they didn't understand that this wasn't going to be interesting. They thought this was going to be interesting to us, that we would be interested in watching this, when Faye and Yoko aren't even a part of it. Like, what is it? Like, why would you shoot your gift horse in the mouth, you know? Like, it doesn't... And like I said, I watched this so you didn't have to. You don't even... Trust me, if you're even... I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Even being objective, I'm like, don't watch this. It's boring. It's not interesting. Imagine what the other content she has planned for the rest of the year. It can't be good. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Like, that's what I gotta say. I don't know what else to say other than this was disappointing. They fucked up. NineStar fucked up. Jeg har ingen følelse for dem, når jeg fucked up. Og jeg vil ikke dø med de twister non-stop. Hvis det ikke bliver den koks,
Mod systemet vi bokser. De andre hopper som lopper, imens jeg også tager en hostel.